All right, so this is going to be a short video just about pie charts, just so you know what they look like and how to read them, and then the parts that we need in a pie chart. So first off, a pie chart is just, some people call it a circle graph. It's what we use to show slices. So a pie chart consists of different slices that are proportional in size, and they represent values in each category out of 100%. So remember that percentages are always out of 100, and a pie chart depicts different categories. So you can have two or more categories. And just remember, they always add up to 100% because that's what percentages do. And then each slice has to be proportional. So for example, here you see we have a pie chart of students' favorite colors. Obviously, the biggest chunk or the biggest slice pertains to the biggest percent, right? So here we have blue with 31%, a red with 25. It's a smaller size, and then the smaller the percentage gets, the smaller the slices are, right? And then again, if you were to add all of these up, they would add up to the 100% that they're supposed to add up to. Now, when you do create a pie chart, you have to make sure that you include these three essential things on it. Your pie chart is useless if it does not have a title. You have to make sure that you tell your reader what your pie chart is depicting, right? So, for example, if the title would have not been here, this pie chart could have meant a lot of different things, right? So I have to make sure I give you a title so that you know that the pie chart represents students' favorite colors, right? So, for example. Now, again, your pie chart is also useless if it doesn't have a legend. So you have to make sure that you put a legend depicting what each category or what every color means. So for this one, it's kind of the same, right? The legend does have to do with colors, but not necessarily for every pie chart. You might have a pie chart where the color red would have meant a different category, for example, business, right? Or the letter A or pizza, whatever. So you have to make sure that you have a legend where the reader can see what every color represents. Now, once you have your pie chart, the slices, again, are proportional. So every slice depicts and means a certain percent. But we always like to include percentages in our pie chart because if you have a slice, this right here, the red section, kind of looks like a quarter of the pie chart, but I cannot tell for sure unless there is a percent. They're telling me, hey, this is 25%. So again, when you make a pie chart, make sure you have these three things in there. Give it a title so we know what you're talking about. Make sure you put a legend so we know what every color represents. And then go ahead and put your percentages so we can have them very nicely, and then we can actually calculate that it adds up to 100%. So those three things are essential in a pie chart. Now, making sure that we know how to read a pie chart. Like I said before, pie charts have some certain categories. The slices are proportional, percentages add up to a certain percent, and we have different categories. So go ahead and read this one here just to make sure that we know how to read a pie chart. Here we have a pie chart where 235 students were surveyed to find what kind of food they wanted for their party. Right, so again, we have everything here. We have a title, it could be food. If this would have been your pie chart, you could get as creative as you want, but here we just kept it simple with a title, just food. We have our legend, so every color tells you what category they represent. So blue represents spaghetti, yellow nachos, gray hot dogs, orange hamburgers, and then we have the light blue for pizza. And again, here are our percentages. If you notice, we are missing a percent, and this is where the first question comes from. The first question is, what percent of students voted for spaghetti? So we come to our legend, and you see that spaghetti is represented with the color dark blue, which is this section right here, and it doesn't have a percent. So before you panic and be like, oh my goodness, there's no way of figuring it out. Yes, there is, right? Remember what we said earlier? Pie charts have percentages that add up to 100%. So when I add all of these percents up, they have to add up to 100. So that's the way we're going to figure out the missing one. So we're going to go ahead and add all of these values first, the ones that are given. And when you add all of those values using your calculator, you will find out that they add up to 89. Again, the pie chart is not complete until it adds up to 100%. So all we have to do now to find the missing percent, we all just have to do is subtract the 89 from the 100. Right, so 100 minus 89 gives me the 11% that is missing. So that means that my spaghetti compensates for 11% of the student survey. Okay, so that's all you have to do. So when you have one number missing, this is all you have to do. You have two numbers or more missing. But when you have one, you should be able to figure it out quite quickly. All right, so I went ahead and put the 11% there just so we know that it's already in there. Now we could go ahead and have a complete pie chart and answer the following questions, right? So the first question is, what is the most popular food? Again, when you have a pie chart, the awesome thing about it is that the slices are proportional. So you could just look for the biggest slice. The biggest slice is the light blue. So the light blue represents pizza. So that would be my answer. Again, if you're not sure, if you're like, oh my goodness, the orange and the blue one look the same, guide yourself with the percents, right? So 33 is bigger than any of the other percents. So that's why that's my answer for the first one. So for the first one, we have pizza. Now for question C, they're asking us what was the least popular food. So least popular means that it has to have the smallest percent. So we look at the smallest percent. If this would have not had percents, visually it might have been a little bit hard to distinguish which is the smaller slice. But again, that's why we have percent. So hopefully we all agree that the smallest percent here is 11%, which is dark blue. We come to our legend and dark blue represents spaghetti. So that's my answer for question C. Now, the last question we have here is question D. What food was voted by 13% of students, right, or by 13%? So again, super simple. You look for 13% here on your pie chart. 13% is under the gray slice. So we come to our legend. Again, that's why we have a legend. You need to have a legend. So the gray section is represents hot dog. So that's my answer for the last one. Okay, so make sure that you know how to read a pie chart so you could answer any question we ask you about it.